Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about Python virtual environment. If you are getting ready for interview, then this question you should expect in interview. How we can use multiple version of Python or how we can use different version of packages. So we'll be trying to solve that question today. We will be talking about Python virtual environment in detail with the problem and statement, why we need it. And then we'll be talking about VENV module, the one we'll be using to create the virtual environment. There are some other modules too. And then we'll go through the life cycle of the virtual environment, create, activate, and deactivate. We'll start with the virtual environment problem statement, why we need the virtual environment at all. Many times we have to switch between versions of the packages, or sometimes we need to support a client which is using the obsolete version of our library or package. In this situation, we have to use the required version of the package in the project. To understand this better, we'll be keep using PIP today, which we have already gone through. If you have not, then I highly encourage that refer my video package installer for Python, video number 13, where I have talked about how to use the PIP. So we have seen that whenever we install one package and we try to upgrade or degrade, it just overwrite. So let's say we are working in one project and we need two different version of package. How we can do that? For that, the solution is create the virtual environment. And this one will give a self-contained directory to a structure where we can have all required packages in that particular environment. So they are called virtual environment. The look, the way they look, the feature, it looks very same like we are working in any other folder. So that's why they are on the same system and then we can have multiple such environment. So let's learn about the VENV module. The module will be using VENV and similarly we have some other modules as well. We can refer them. Uh, this module comes by default with Python installation. So we don't have to install this module separately. We'll start with the definition of a virtual environment and we'll try to showcase one project where we are working on different version 5.40, 3020. And for simplicity, we have used the request library in all these versions, different request library. One particular release need 2.27, another one release 2.25 of request, and another one need 2.24. We have seen that if we install 2.27 or we'll rewrite by 2.2.5, this one will be gone and 2.2.5 will stay. But we'll see today how we'll be able to use all these different versions on the same setup. How we can do that? By just calling Python minus m, the module name VNV, and then the name of the environment. We can give any name. I have given 5.40, 30, and 20, and the same we'll be using. Once we have created, we need to activate. And once we activate, then we are in the particular virtual environment. For Windows, Linux, and macOS, we have different way of activating. By just calling the activate.batch file, we'll be able to activate the virtual environment. And this batch file will be available in newly created virtual environment. And how we know that we are in the virtual environment? By just looking at the command prompt. So earlier we had something like this. As soon as we call, the virtual environment name will appear as a prefix of the command line. Once we are done with the activate, we are moving to the another environment, or parallelly we want to work on more than one environment. In such cases, or if we do not need it, then in that case by just calling deactivate, we'll be able to deactivate. So let's change our gear and go to the command prompt. So already in this environment, I have two virtual environment, and I will try to list the directory. So these environments are nothing but a self-contained directory. So already I have created two different virtual environment here, 5.30 and 5.40. Let's see how they look in the Windows itself. So they are nothing special. They are just a folder with the name, the one we have created, and how they look. So once we'll go inside, we'll be having these folders getting created. And by looking into the lib packages, we can see that, yeah, they looks different. So in the site packages, we don't have much library, but we have PyMongo, we have testfill, our locally created. But if we jump back to 5.30, and again, they look very similar, script lib include, we'll go to the lib, we'll go to the site packages, and again here we see we have a request library. We don't have PyMongo here, we don't have testfill. So that way we can see that we are on the same system and with a different version of the packages. So let's bring the command line once again. And right now we are not in any environment. So that's why it is looking like C drive. So again, here we'll just do the pip list and we'll try to list all the packages. Same time, I have brought up another command prompt as well. So we can see that whenever we are listing to our default installed location, and there we have only two packages, pip and setup tool. Let's create new one. So the command is Python -m and the name of the module and then the name of the virtual environment. We can have any name. I'm just giving 5.20 and extra slash I've taken out. So now it is going to launch create 2.0. Meanwhile, I will activate here 5.40. So 5.40 and we'll go to the scripts. We'll go to the activate and we'll activate. So already as soon as we call the activate, this is a batch file, nothing else. And now we see that our prompt has changed. Our prompt is now listing 5.40. It means we have already activated the virtual environment of 5.40. Let's list the pip list here and see what all packages we have in 5.40. Meanwhile, we can see that 5.20 environment have been created. If we go back to our folder once again, and here we'll see that another folder have been created 5.20. And in this package, again, it looks very similar, but they are their own folder. If we add any packages, they will go to their specific virtual environment. And the same time, we can have the multiple virtual environment in the setup, and we can, in the parallel, we can use them. And if you go inside, again, it is new. It doesn't have any extra packages. So let's go back here. So couple of the things. The virtual environment have been created, but still it has not been activated. So by creating, we are not referring, or we are not inside the environment. We have to be inside the environment as soon as we call the activate. So very interesting. As soon as we create the virtual environment, these folders will be created, and inside the scripts, we have this batch file, activate, deactivate, and these are the batch file we are calling. So we called this particular batch file uh, 5.40 scripts activate. So it is going to activate the 5.40 environment. and it has activated, and we did the pip list, and there we see that lots of different packages which I was using in this version. Same time, let's activate the newly created environment as well. What we can do, we will be just pointing to the activate batch file. So 5.20 scripts and activate. Same way, now we see that prefix have been added with the 5.20. And if we do the pip list here, we'll be able to list all the installed packages in 5.20 environment. So we can see that at the same time, we are able to work in two different versions and they are having their different set of packages. And we can have many more. There is no limitation on it. Okay. So now we know how to create, now we know how to activate, and let's give a try of installing one particular. So here we don't have request library. Let's try installing here. Pip install requests. So this install is going to install in the 5.20. This installation is not going to affect my 5.40 or 5.30. Okay, so it said it has been installed. Let me run the pip list once again. And now we can confirm that the requests library have been added and some more dependent library. But we do not see request library here. So that's how we can have one environment with the required set of the library, like required set of the packages, and another one with the required. Once we are done with this environment, by just simply calling the deactivate, we'll be able to deactivate the virtual environment itself. And let's try one. So we'll say 5.20, call the scripts, and then call the deactivate. And now we see that the the look has changed. Now we don't have prefix. So we are now in the common. We are not in any virtual environment. And one more time, we can confirm that whatever installation we did, that was only inside the 2.0, not inside the even the default. So yeah, default is still the default. And let's say we are done with this one. There is no point keeping this folder. By just clicking on the delete, we'll be able to get rid of this whole thing. So, so this way we'll be able to create, activate, and deactivate, and this is the very neat and clean way of maintaining different version on avoiding any kind of conflict. So that's all I had for today. If you like, please share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.